Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OG's Power Hour. Morning, Tony. Guys, John is just actually leaving the festival right now, heading back to Vancouver or Abbotsford. But so he's not going to be joining us this morning. But of course, we've got our brother, Mr. Tony, here. So how's you doing, Tony? I had a hell of a fun weekend.
I'm doing all right, brother. Just been busy with my garden, trying to keep it hydrated. It was so damn hot yesterday. I had to water twice out there.
Oh yeah, man. We were running at 100-degree temperatures here in the Kootenays yesterday, and it's going to be that probably more than that today. But Shay's got his garden. It's actually right outside where I'm at, and it's looking just beautiful. We got some aerial shots from a drone of it, so we'll be putting that up, guys, here in the next little while. But yeah, the music just stopped here at 7 a.m., so only a few hours ago.
Right on.
Yeah, it was quite the rave, man. People were having fun. There's still people that are just, wandering around going, "Oh my God, I need to sleep." So did you rave when you were younger, Tony?
Nah, man, I was more into punk rock than raves.
Yeah, I never even
had a
went
partner
down
that
for
went
music.
to all kinds of raves. It wasn't my thing, really.
Yeah. Well, I know I got to listen to the music all night because it was echoing across the lake. But yeah, I never went down to the dancing and that. But a lot of people dressed up in unicorn outfits and with lights and, oh yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, big
Right
party.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So you've been working hard on the garden, keeping it alive. How's the one on the corner that you were watering twice? Did you have to water that one 3 times yesterday?
Yeah, I did. 2 of them I had to water 3 times. I literally went out there and grabbed the 60-gallon pot and could move it with one hand. It was so dry.
Holy cripes! Yeah.
And it was
Definitely
bad. I watered at 6 a.m., like 2, and then back again at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep the plants happy when it's like that because you'll start moving nutrients that they need out of the system when you have to water too hard. So I got to top dress again to this tomorrow or the next day so that I can reamend and add the nutrients that plant's after.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then when you do water, that's going into that layer where she's feeding, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Good
that's flowering
morning.
too. So that plant and the one next to it are both going into flower hard. I need to treat them with some Cytoplus from BioAg. That'll jumpstart it right into flower. It's a little trick you can do. If you can hit your plants right at flip with that stuff, it'll force it to go into flower real fast.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like we at our campsite out here, Tony. It was amazing because we were set up. We got our tents and we're sitting there, and we look down, and here's 2 cannabis plants growing beside us in the trees, right?
Yep.
Tell this been a spot where a lot of weed gets smoked, man.
They are everywhere.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. So when do you figure you're going to be taking those down? About another month or 2 months? Like your area is kind of really
2 months.
specific.
2.5 for the first ones. Like September, first 2 weeks of September, the first 2 will come down, and then from then on, about every 2 weeks, I'll pull a plant.
So are you tracking the PM risk, or some you're taking down earlier, or is it just that
I haven't seen powdery mildew in my area in like 15 years.
Sweet.
So yeah, I haven't had to deal with that on cannabis in a long time.
So all we get is
spider mites and a few aphids once in a while.
What was that, Tony?
I said we'll get a few aphids and spider mites once in a while, but those are easily taken care of.
Okay.
A little bit of Bavaria bassiana, and those things are done.
Yeah, and quick.
Now, I like using W22WP. It's a powder form.
So what are you smoking on, Tony?
I'm just cleaning out the fucking little glass jars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I use this Ghetto S straw to do that with.
Well, it works really well. Like I know, like I've had people handing me some really wild weed all weekend. But yeah, like I only did one real dab, and that was yesterday. My back was just killing me, so I did a dab. Then I had to go lay down. But it really helped with the pain, that's for sure. Didn't put haze for days in the flowering Afghan. It did put all my meat.
Wise running some of my stuff out there, so he's trying to get the haze to flower faster. That plant, it in his area could go till January unless he gets hit with some storm.
Yeah,
I pull it here. December 17th is when I usually pull that haze for days.
Okay.
Well, I've got some crosses to that haze for days today going, and one of them, it finishes way quicker. Instead of 14 to 16 weeks, she should finish like November for me. 1st of November.
Okay.
Should be about 5 weeks earlier.
Been super wet. Yeah, PM's a real major issue. Like I'm actually in a way surprised that you're not getting it, but you must not be getting that moisture coming up from the ocean. You're obviously high enough up, or what's just the valley blows the other way, the winds, or
just it's hot as fuck here. I'm at 450 feet. There's no powdery mildew here.
Yeah.
So if you got powdery mildew in there, you got to clean up your plants and you clean up your area, and it'll go away. Hit that shit up with some milk. Milk will take it out pretty easily. Kombucha. If you go and check out Luna's done some microscope work to show how easily kombucha will just destroy powdery mildew.
Yeah. And it's fantastic, and it's easy to come by in pretty much any area of the fucking globe nowadays.
Yep. What's up,
THC? Yeah. But so when you're taking down that at the end. Oh, sorry, Tony. What were you saying?
Oh, I just see David Bryan saying it was 80 at 1 a.m. Yeah, we were too. I think we were 80 or 82 degrees at 1. It might have been hotter than that. At 12:30, we were like 95 degrees. It was fucking insane last night. It was hot as hell. It's just so hot. I usually open my doors at night and let cool air in. Nope. Yeah. That wasn't happening last night. I think the lowest we got was at 6 a.m. We hit like 72 degrees or something, and then it just starts spiking because the sun comes back up. It's already 90 degrees outside right now. It's 10 a.m.
Yeah, and it's almost time for you to water that one plant again, or two. You got two.
Oh, I was already out there at 6 a.m. watering.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But since 6, you're probably gonna have to water in about 2 hours from now again.
Oh, I will. I'll have to go out there around noon to 2 o'clock and check the Totally Haze and the Ghost of Candida. That Ghost of Candida just devours water. I can't keep it wet enough. And any pot that I have, I've got them in 30s, 5s, 3s, and 1s, and all of them, it just sucks water up twice as fast as everything else.
So in the genetics, it's probably not a good one to be growing in Arizona.
Well, not to begin with, but the fact that I'm breeding with it in this area is going to turn the offspring into something that'll handle the heat very easily.
Yeah, true. Create the terroir.
This will be the third breeding project using the original Candida mom. It's a high CBD female, so I was using her to add to the Ghost line, so I can add some terpene profiles that are different than most CBD. I had that sequence. She came back as high CBD again, so I'm running her again to my Ghost of Boneyard, and I'm going to add Ghost OG 2 or 3 times, and then a couple Chem D, couple Chem 4s, and the Afghani 1.
Cool.
And we should still stick with a CBD plant that's close to 1-to-1 with some 2-to-1s in there on both sides. It's been 5 years on that project.
Yeah, and I think that those are some seeds I'd like to see, because I really think I want to try getting into the higher CBD stuff when I start growing again, and see. I'd like to quit smoking. but I want something that's got a little bit of flavor to it, and some medical back end on the THC too, right? But I
Yep.
want more of a balanced profile.
Well, that's what I'm working with on this one here. I'm trying
Yeah.
to throw CBD in there with a whole new flavor profile because most of them to me taste like chalky cherries, and it really doesn't
Chalky
appeal to me.
cherries?
Yeah, they taste like old bad fucking medicine. I don't like CBD mostly to smoke. It's not something I enjoy. So
Okay,
I'm trying to.
I got one for you, Tony. Have you ever tried Buckley's cough syrup?
Probably. I don't know. I don't take
Well,
many
if you
medicines, so I don't
had,
know.
you wouldn't forget because it tastes awful, but it works. And that's actually their advertising is it tastes awful, but it works. And it does, but yeah, it does taste awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's how most CBDs are. They just taste like ass. I don't like them.
Yeah.
For that,
Okay.
that
No. Is it so bad that we'd have to get the jar out with the dirty socks in it and crack the jar to get a better
Yeah,
scent?
I don't smoke. Like, I'm trying to think the last time I smoked CBD weed on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. Yeah.
Probably Good Medicine, like in 2014. That's probably the
Cool.
last time I grew a CBD to smoke. Because I was bringing in some new genetics and I was trying them out. It was all right. It's just not my kind of smoke.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
most CBDs don't have the flavor that I'm looking for me to keep smoking them.
And that's why you're trying to add the flavor into what you're creating.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I know Lily really wants me to quit smoking, and I'd like to quit smoking, but it is what it is. And yeah, I've smoked some really wild stuff, and a lot of stuff I can't even tell you because it hasn't even been released yet. We had really good breeders up here this weekend.
Right on.
Yeah.
I bet you there was a ton of cool people up there, man, with some killer projects.
Oh yeah, the seed exchange was fantastic, and some of the you got the younger guys where you got this crowd around them, and then you got the guys with the long hippie beards and the long hair, and a totally different group of guys around those guys. Yeah. Those with the old strains. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. You get guys that have been growing for 50, 60 years at these events that it's very rare that they come out of the bush in the first place and they come to these events, especially the seed exchange, right? The genetics are phenomenal.
They got me by about 20 years. I've only been doing this 42 years now.
Yeah.
43 years.
Yeah, like the guys up here in the back valleys and the Kootenays, and well, it's all over the world. It's those guys in the back valleys that have those genetics that they've been growing it for grandma for the last 50 years, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked. Damn it, it works for grandma. I ain't gonna ever stop growing it.
Yeah, like I learned from the dude that shot this buck back in the day, old Grandpa Lee.
Yeah.
Grandpa Lee, been like, if he was still alive, he'd be probably growing almost 80 years, close to fucking at least that long. Like, that dude grew his whole life up in Humboldt, as far as I knew, and he didn't smoke. I mean, cannabis was
smoke.
No, him or his wife. They used it as a commodity because cannabis was worth so much money. He was able to grow like 10 pounds and sell it. His son was this guy's son used to move pounds for $9,600 a pound down in LA. Yeah. So he would take his pop's pounds down there and bring them back fucking $90,000 off the 10 pounds and fucking keep $6,000 for himself. And fucking every year he was getting paid like that. These in LA, the guys up in Humboldt that shot this fucker, they used to move some weight. They were the biggest dudes I ever seen pushing weight. His son, that dude, back in the 80s and 90s, like, you'd go in the room and there was fucking 55-gallon bags of weed just stacked everywhere. And it was like it was just furniture. No one cared. It didn't matter. No one was seeing if you were stealing shit. Like, we'd come over and go, we want some weed, and they'd fucking fill up bags of weed. Like, my buddy's dad would dump out a whole loaf of bread and fill the whole bag with weed. I'm not talking Ziploc bags. I'm talking whatever giant bag was next to him. He's like, here, smoke it.
Yeah.
We'd smoke that
Enjoy.
shit in 24 hours, come back and smoke more. Like, we weren't selling it or nothing. We were just getting ripped back in the day, man. Let's see, I was probably around 20 years old at that time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. My brother was around 18, so I'd have been 20. We were just fucking down in Palm Springs getting faded back then. Green bud, Bammer weed, fucking. His dad was moving everything. That dude moved. If it was a drug that anyone was using, he was moving that shit. He'd come back here with Porsches and shit every summer. He'd have a brand new Porsche or some shit, all from slanging herb, man.
Yeah.
And them days are gone now, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, the price point is really gone, and I don't think she's ever going to come back to that, man. Like,
she'll never come back to that for everybody. There's going to be some small places where people will be able to take advantage of some consumers, but as you start to grow cannabis, you learn even the most top grade cannabis doesn't cost almost anything to grow. It's cheap as shit, especially if you have a good outdoor setup going. If you can put yourself a greenhouse together that'll keep most of the environment out, you can grow some of the best herb in the world. Almost for free. No electrical almost at all. Very, very small supplemental electricity, especially with today's LEDs. I mean, literally. And with autos, you don't have to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to even go out there to flip tarps anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I never was one to even consider doing tarps because my back's so fucked up. That's why I went full indoor. And I don't use the sun at all, and I don't get that extra heat and that. And I got 2 cats, man. I'd have to get a greenhouse that was glass because a plastic one, they just have this tendency to climb and claw their way up to the top, and shred the plastic. And it doesn't work very well.
I hear you. Yeah, CBG and CBN in there. My Haze for Days has both of those in there. CBG, CBN, CBD, THC in the test.
Yeah.
She tested at over 30% total cannabinoids.
Cool.
What? 5.4 CBG, 4.7 CBD, and 24.5 on the THC, I think it was. She didn't have any CBN at that moment because she was pulled extremely early, so it hadn't built up any CBN in there.
Yeah. What are you hearing about the CBC? I've heard it mentioned a few times, but I'm not really sure.
I haven't really looked into it much.
Yeah.
Let's see what's up.
Good point, Ken. Cat claws in greenhouses. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. It just doesn't work. Yeah. I'd have to go straight up with like poly panel for like 6 feet so the cats can't jump up on the top.
Yeah, CBC. It opens up both receptors of our cannabinoid receptors. It supposedly works 10 times more effective than CBD on pain and inflammation.
Okay,
Antiviral, anti-tumor.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to really take a serious look at that because with my nerve pain, maybe that's the cannabinoid that I'm really after and didn't even fucking know it.
No, that's what I'm talk about a lot of times. We talk about the patient and this being medicine, and then we only look at how high the THC number is. And most of the times, that's not what's needed for pain. That's just there for the mind-altering psychoactive effect. But a lot of people, especially seniors like my mother, that's dangerous. Like to have them clouded in the mind when they're already partially clouded from age, and then being delicate, their body, it's a recipe for disaster. So like some of these breeders out here need to start putting together some stuff that's not just for the Instagram stoner, like some weed that works beyond getting you fucked up. That's
well, this all started with medical cannabis, and we really need to look at going back to that and not just the stone. But if you're trying to make a profit, the problem is everybody wants that. So we got to go back into a medical sector again, growing for the medical patient again on the certain strains, not just trying to make a buck, but trying to make people's lives better.
But that's not what the cannabis community is really about. They're about getting paid. That's it. They're not about medicine. If they were about the medical side, we wouldn't have recreational cannabis right now. We would have went with what California showed them, legal medical cannabis. That's what we would have put in to effect everywhere. And we would have made sure of it if it was about the patient first and the plant. Instead, we went and tried to figure out how we could license up and sell whatever the fuck we can in as many different kinds of packages as possible. Like, we can't even see the shit no more. And it's just not, it's not good. It really isn't. The way we've taken cannabis and bastardized it is it's gonna come back and bite us, I believe. We'll learn in the long run how we fucked up, but we won't have a chance to change it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is if we can just keep coming together as communities, just small communities, to help, our friends and neighbors with, our own grows at home, I think that's going to be more where the medical goes. But I think a lot of the craft cannabis is going to start to, do longer cures, to start making the Cuban cigars of the cannabis industry kind of thing, where it's like the ice wines, etc. Create a commodity that people want because it's that fine wine, it's that aged, brandy. People really want that, and they're willing to pay the extra to get that. And then if you're making that kind of money, then you can donate to the Compassion Club down the road, where the people really need it, and you don't have to worry about fucking making ends meet. And Shadow Mech, thanks for the information, man. Appreciate it.
And I don't see it ever coming back. Like what people pay for cannabis.
Oh no, the price will never come back, man. To those days,
like
yeah,
said,
no, it ain't gonna happen.
That was in the '80s getting $9,600 a pound. You'd have to get $35,000 for a pound of weed today for that to be the same purchasing power and money. We ain't close to that.
Oh god, and we'll never be.
Cannabis has stayed at the same price it's been since I bought weed in the '80s, and dropped lower and lower and lower until you get to the recreational place where they're slanging weed to you. And now weed again is $50 an eighth. But they didn't pay anywhere near that kind of money for it. You were lucky to pay fucking $10 on the eighth for that shit, probably at the price cannabis is right now. And then they turn around and sell it to you for $50 and try to tell you it's because it had to be tested and it had to be cured and had to be packaged, had to be distributed. That's all bullshit, because in the old days, we knew where to go get the weed. It didn't matter what it came in. It still doesn't matter. Right? As long as it's quality, we don't give a fuck if it's a plastic bag or a cardboard box. If I can get the same grower to produce the same stuff over and over, I would support that. But all we get now is bunk ass bullshit.
Well, and like it's the same all over the world. It's once the government's involved and it's legal, and you have to follow all these rules, do these certain things. Where before you throw it in a bag and sell the weed, it was direct to the customer, and there was no middleman. Now there's fucking levels upon levels upon levels of fucking middlemen.
But that's because everyone is too lazy to become the middleman. Like, if you got a whole group of people that you're fucking with, why is all of you trying to be just a grower? Why don't you all take one of those positions and become the entity that's getting paid, and not send your money over to other people that don't give a fuck about the product? As soon as it leaves your hands, no matter how great you treated it, if you give it to a distributor or a packager that could give two fucks about you or the weed, you've just made it such. It's bullshit now. They don't care how they package it. They don't care how they treat it. They don't give a damn. It's a commodity. It's just like a machine filling cookies into a fucking chocolate chip bag. The machine didn't give a fuck what was it put in the bag. All it cares about is I'm supposed to put this amount of this and that and then seal it.
Yeah.
And you're removing everything that made cannabis great. Like I was talking about some of the homies rolling a joint.
Yeah.
Like everybody trying to pick up a pre-roll joint. they're not real consumers of cannabis. They're not into craft. All they care about is hype. Someone that's been smoking for a long time has a ritual. Like you sit down with the same tray and the same grinder with the same papers. You go through removing stems or whatever that's in there. It takes a while for you to do this. And all of that's calming. It's a type of meditation. And if I got to go in the shop and buy a fucking cone that's already rolled and go out, I don't know what's in it. I can't smell it. I can't see it. Until I leave, I'm not even going to be able to know if what I thought I bought is in the fucking jar. And 9 times out of 10, even if it's the same correct genetics, it tastes like ass. It's been in there for how long? It's oxidized. It went through someone growing it, packaging it, testing it, grinding it up, repackaging it, sticking it on the shelf, and now you waiting to get it. By the time you touch that weed, how old is it? How many hands have been on it? How much oxidation has happened to it? We're only about the sale. That's it. The sale and the image that comes with that sale. If I can make myself look like the place you want to go or the person you want to support, that's all that matters. So today they've got everybody like nailed. Everything is just fucking popped out, cartoons, bright as can be, with food everywhere on it. They're selling you a bag that looks like sugar with weed inside of it. Yeah, it's like candy toys back in the fucking 80s. And
we want to go back to the old Oriental tea ceremony that, everything had its place, its movement. There was reason behind it. Like, it's not just, buy a quick joint. It's cut up that weed, take a look at it, smell it. We miss out on that now.
And that's gone because the guys that do that are growing it. They're not going to go buy it from nobody. Those are the guys you just saw at the Unicorn Cup that don't show up nowhere. They're sick and tired of what's happened to this plant and the people that are doing it. And it's not one or two folks doing it. It's the whole fucking community shoving cannabis off a cliff because all they care about is shiny, pretty, and hype. They don't give a fuck about test reports. They don't care about clean plants. Like every time I tell someone I've tested all my new stuff for hop latent viroid and 8 other viruses, they just ignore what I'm saying. It goes right over their head and they don't care. It's just
that's the education.
No, they don't give a fuck. They'll never educate. They don't give a fuck. Period. Yeah. All they care about is what the number on the back of the jar says. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't care about the smell. They don't care about the taste. They want to know how high the numbers are. Does it wash? What's the terp percentage and what are the THC numbers?
Yeah.
And none of that shit affects how well it works for me or grandma or the kid with seizures. Like I used to have a lady that came in, couldn't see. She didn't know what the fucking weed looked like. I had another guy came in, couldn't smell. He'd never smelled any of the weed. Couldn't smell none of it. Didn't give a fuck what it was. Another guy had no taste buds. Couldn't taste the shit. Right? Mm-hmm. All this. The 2 men had it happening from Vietnam, being affected by Agent Orange. The lady got cancer in her eye and ended up blind. So I got 3 people that want cannabis and it works for them. And none of them can choose it by the way most of the community does. And it's weird. Like, and we talk about weird things that we say it might taste like without any proof to show that that's what it should taste like a terpene report with more than 6 terpenes on it. Like, why don't you test all 100 of them fuckers and find out what's in that thing? We're just not interested in the science of this plant. We're more interested in the sales of this plant. That's what everybody talks about.
That's only some people. There are a small group.
That's a high majority of our community. It's what's pushing this community. Yeah. The craft guys aren't doing jack shit but hiding.
That's trying to survive.
No, they're not worried about surviving. They've got their strains. They know how to grow it. They don't give a fuck about the system. They're not trying to sell their weed. They're smoking it. It's like me. I'm not selling no fucking weed. I haven't sold weed for I don't know how long. 20 years?
Yeah.
All I do is grow it and smoke it. And I don't give a fuck what the club has or what's hype and what's not. I know what works for me. So for me to go search through another 100 cultivars to find the stuff that already does what it does is just a waste of my time. And I'm a sick human who's dying. I don't have that time. And that's where the cannabis community has stopped caring. The sales is more important than us selling the patient what they need. We're selling them what we want to sell them. That's not medicine. That's not medicine at all.
We're selling them what's going to make us the most money is what we're selling. Instead of having it, what's going to help the person the most, it's all about what's our bottom line going to be on what we've got.
I used to manage a club. My club's the only club I've ever been into when someone asked me about my own specific chemovar status, like what types of things am I affected by? Am I allergic to anything? Are there different foods that I eat or don't, right? Something that every person offering any kind of medicine should ask the patient before you start giving them things like CBD. If somebody's on specific kind of pills, you don't offer them CBD without giving them the information that CBD can affect how their medication works. Right? But you go to a club and you're not allowed to even speak to the person on that level. They'll start telling their people there's HIPAA laws, so you can't ask them any medical questions. You can't say it does anything medical, or that's illegal because it's recreational. Right? And now you're talking to somebody like at my shop. I'm probably 25 years older than all them people. There's no way any one of those bud tenders knows as much about cannabis as me.
No.
Not the average person, but myself. Like I know more than all of them put together inside that place. And all they want to do is ask me if I want an indica or sativa, or do I want live batter, stupid shit like that.
Yeah. Well, there's no real base education for them to get their job. It's like any person that that can dig a ditch. You don't need an education, and not being allowed to talk to the people. They don't need to get an education. They don't need to learn it because they're not allowed to talk about it anyway.
But we support this shit. That's the problem. That's why from the very lowest consumer to the highest of the producers, all we care about is the sale. That's fucking it. There nothing else is written into the system to change it. We don't have classes set up to teach bud tenders anything so that everyone in every state is certified the same way. Doesn't happen. Like a plumber. The plumber gets certified for his job. He's done the same shit other plumbers done everywhere. He didn't just start using clay pipes and he's the only one. Like everybody's using the same kind of shit. They go by code.
Well, we standard operating procedures is SOPs in plumbing or electrical or any.
They don't have that in cannabis. They say the words, but they don't have it. You can go get your cannabis tested at 5 different labs and get 5 different results. And each lab trying to explain to you why their result's correct. That it shouldn't be that way. It should be I can send them in blind to anybody, and I'm going to get plus or minus 5% or whatever the number we decide is. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing brand new.
Margin. Yeah.
And we have to quit supporting it because, they put it there and that's what's for sale, but you don't have to buy it, right? Like a person that likes Pepsi doesn't go and buy Coke because there's no Pepsi. He just doesn't drink a fucking soda that day. And that's what we should be doing with the cannabis that's being offered. You go in once, you buy the top grade, and it's worse than your mids. You don't support it no more. You don't go back. Don't fucking buy any of the herb from the place, and everyone there should be doing the same. They will quickly switch around and offer you a product that you want. They'll sell you whatever you'll buy, but you're buying anything, and that's the problem.
Well, you can go to multiple stores and get multiple different types of lettuce. You can do the same with cannabis. Like up here, we actually have different companies starting to try to educate bud tenders, sommelier courses, like what Kevin does with, oh my God.
All that shit doesn't work. You don't start from the bottom and go to the top. You start from the top and go to the bottom with what we got. So there's guys like me that are educated on the cannabis. We know which cultivars do what. We are supposed to be making people understand how we understand, not dumb down what we know so that we can talk to the dumbest dude in the room. The dumbest guy in the room needs to have the interest in becoming much smarter than he is.
Yeah.
Or we're going to be stuck on stupid forever. That's the whole problem. Like there's no way you're going to educate the consumer on the level that I have. It's not going to ever happen. That person doesn't give a fuck about cannabis other than he wants to be high, he or she. And we're using that person to push sales. That's the problem. He'll read about it in fucking Time magazine or hear about it on the news, and then he comes down and wants to buy that in the store. Has no experience with that plant whatsoever. And then us, as the breeders, we start to breed for those things. That's how cookies got here. A new plant showed up. Everyone wanted to get their hands on cookies because it was moving hella sales. The cookies company becoming billionaires is proof of this. Everybody wanted a piece of that pie. So everyone grabbed a cookies cut and started breeding with it. And then everyone bought those seeds and bred with those seeds. And now we're at a point to where everything that everyone likes today at some point has cookies in it. And it's just not good. It all came from wanting sales. Not because something was good or because it did something specific. It was because there was a hype behind this shit. Massive hype.
Big hype.
They were fucking having arguments in public at cups with microphones over this shit. And people flock to it because that's all they care about. They're stoned and they're giggling. They're not there because their legs hurt, and they're not there because they got cancer. All those people are at home dying. The people at the cup, if you're there and you're sick, you're going on a fucking last ride. Most everybody else there is just hanging out. And
but you have to consider what Silly Lily just put up. The largest demographic are the boomers, old farts like me, and they need the medicine. So maybe
but they don't know nothing about the plant. So they're out there asking a bud tender that don't know shit about a plant what they should use. And now we're fucked. Because nobody's worried about an education.
Pushing the message out, Tony. That's why we're here, brothers.
That's never gonna work. I've been doing that for 40 years. It don't work, Ken. It doesn't work.
Well,
everybody says it does not work.
If we quit, then everybody's fucked. If we keep going, we
don't quit. We have to quit offering the bullshit we're offering and start giving what works. Get rid of the hype, get rid of the bullshit, and put in there and make them take what works. We have to redo the whole system. We have it all fucked up right now. It's the whole system's fucked, and it ain't never gonna change. It's been the same. I've been on forums since the 90s doing this shit. That's 30 years of the exact same thing. It will never change. They're not concerned about anything but the profit the plant can get them and the shine that it puts on them. That's what the cannabis person's all about. Until they start to actually die, and then all that shit don't matter. They don't care about Instagram. They don't care about the name. They only care that the cannabis I'm smoking works. And now it's too late because you're dying. I used to tell everybody that in my club. I said, how come all you fools have to wait until the bat you're swinging hit you in the fucking head? Like you're out there knocking everyone else out, and now you're the one that's knocked out the game, and you missed the game and want to play. You had to know more about the game than what a home fucking run was. And that's what we're doing with cannabis. We just want the home run. We don't want the education. Too many people out here are still telling everyone they're doing pheno hunts. You can't do a pheno hunt if you've never fucking found the genotype you're after, right? And the breeders are the ones telling them this. So as the breeder says it, and it trickles down to the very bottom, the bottom dude doesn't know he's not saying anything correct. He doesn't know he's completely wrong in what he's speaking. I want an indica that does this and that, and it's because he heard it somewhere, and not because it's fact. Right? They just did a test on this. I'm trying to remember the company. They ran 600 plants. They were categorized by indica and sativa, and then they were supposed to do specific things, the plants, and 90% of them did not do what they were supposedly supposed to do because of the way the average stoner labels shit. He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. He's just saying keywords that make him sound okay, and that's our problem. We don't value the education of the plant enough yet. It's coming, but it's too late. When Big Pharma takes a hold of this plant, it don't matter how smart we are, they're going to keep it. That's why we have to do that shit today and not tomorrow. Things I'm saying we can't wait for it to happen. We have to make it happen. We have to do this. You can't offer people purple plants, frosted cookies, and then say cookie sucks like everybody does. You have to fucking breed something new that no one else is doing. Similar to what I just did with everything I'm breeding right now. They're all plants I created, the mothers and the fathers. They're not somebody else's packs I picked up. I've been working for 5 years on this project so that I could literally stop growing other people's genetics in my breeding projects because there's no way to be different if I'm using the same. There's
Well,
no
if
way
you're
to
using the
find
same thing
better
everybody
product.
else is, yeah, you're not going to be any different. You're just another guy breeding with cookies or whatever, right?
And I'm trying to get out of that myself. I want to find
Yeah,
new plants that do things from my medical needs. No, I don't want to breed for the
yeah,
guy that likes purples because it sells well. I don't care. I want to breed for someone that probably isn't going to be here very long.
yeah.
And this is going to give them an extra day or an extra smile. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the environment around here was this weekend. It was like everybody, friendly, happy, helping everybody else out. And hey, man, do you need a hoot? Like, here, check this out. And more in because it's a half regenerative conference, half rave. You've got those kind of genetics where people have been working with them for their entire life from the medical outlook. Like I'm about the medical, just like you, Tony, and it's everything we smoke is medical, even if we don't want to admit to it. You have a hit off a fucking joint, you're getting affected medically. We just call it getting high, but ourselves, we're focused more on what it can do for our physical form and other people's. But a lot of people, yeah, it's coming. The change is slow, but then everything, the only consistent thing in life is everything does change, Tony. We've fucking seen it all of our lives, man.
I haven't seen it in cannabis. I've been fucking with for 40, and it's exactly the fucking same as when I started. It's a
Other
bunch of
than the price
hustlers selling
drop.
each other lies, pretending that they're not. That's all cannabis is today. There's nobody out here proving what they say. I've got powdery mildew resistant plants. They just say that because they didn't see none. You ain't
Yeah,
going to hear me ever say that about my plants. And I haven't seen powdery mildew for 15 years.
yeah,
And unless I can sequence them and show you that it has the PM1 gene, I
yeah,
shouldn't be saying that shit, right? Other plant breeders don't do this. Like a guy with a lily doesn't tell you his red lily's also an albino and purple and all this crazy stupid shit.
yeah,
They make a plant that does what they say, they put it on the market, and people want it.
yeah,
Cannabis
exactly.
guys hear about shit, think it's going to taste like some cookie they ate when they were 7, and then go and buy that shit. Like, it's just, we do shit all weird here. It's really weird. All these dessert marketed strains that don't taste anything like the dessert they're named after.
Yeah,
Like, at least in my day when it was called orange, it tasted like orange. Today,
yeah,
we got people telling us everything tastes like dough and can't even explain what dough tastes like and don't understand how many different types of dough there are. They're just using words they heard, not words that mean a damn thing. We're doing
yeah.
it
They're
wrong.
being parrots. They're just being parrots, and they don't understand the back end of the word they're actually using to track it back to what it's supposed to mean. They have no fucking clue. But that's one of the things that we're trying to change. And there's a lot of other
It
people
won't
out there
change
trying
until
to
you
do it.
stop buying the fucking the bullshit with money. Like, it's gonna change once big pharma takes it from us. Then
Yeah,
reality is gonna set in that we're fucked, and the only way we get around this is being 100% real with the plant. It's been trying to tell us that since we came in contact with it. It yells it at you when it puts you in contact with dying humans, so
yeah,
that you'll quit fucking acting like a child with the plant. Every time you meet someone with cancer and you give them cannabis because you are under the impression it helps, and then that person dies, your life was supposed to change from that and the plant. You weren't
yeah,
supposed to continue your fucking way with the bullshit you were doing. You were supposed to make a realization that what I gave wasn't the best. There was probably something better. And if I am about this plant, I need to find it. It should put you on a mission besides trying to show stacking trichomes. Because
but Tony, even yourself, brother, before you got sick, you weren't this guy either, though. You'd like
yes,
to
I
say
was.
that.
I've been doing this my whole. It's the only reason I breed. My grandfather died from cancer. The only
Exactly.
reason I put a plant on another plant was for medicine for dying
Exactly.
sick
Yeah.
humans, not to sell nothing. I gave away seeds for 20 years until the veterans forced me to take their money from them because they were
Yeah.
tired of being given shit. It's the only reason I took money for seeds. Period.
Yeah.
I did not breed for anything other than sick, dying humans. Today, people breed so they can make something called white cookies. They'll go buy the white and the cookies and cross them just so they can make white cookies. There's nothing in that breeding besides sales, period. When you're buying packs based on the name, so you can make another funnier name, and the genetics didn't matter, you're not breeding for anything but profit and for your own self, period. It has nothing to do with a patient or anyone else. Not at all.
And that's what we want to get away from. But there's only a certain amount of us that want to change things. But hey, it doesn't take a lot. We can just keep working at it, and who knows? Maybe we're gonna win, Tony. I don't know. I hope that we do win, and people wake up to the education.
Well, you guys in Canada already found out you won't win. Your government's in control of cannabis. You guys get 4 plants. You lost. That's what's coming here. That's what the stoner doesn't get. You lost. 4 plants is not enough.
I don't know that we lost because we didn't have the legal right to grow those 4 plants.
That's why you lost, because you wanted to have the legal right. You had the plant. The plant gave you the right. It's your fucking ancestor. That's like having the right to go see your grandma.
Even the indigenous don't have that right now.
You don't accept the government telling you this is illegal. You do it. Some of us did this. Some of us grew and got busted repeatedly. Right? And everyone else today that's got cannabis in a form that doesn't put them in jail is there because some people risked everything.
And some people are still in jail for what they did.
My mom went to jail 2 times for cannabis. My grandfather died without cannabis. My father died without it. My grandmother died without it. All these people dying because cannabis wasn't legal. I don't give a fuck. Like every time we got busted, it was written down we were growing for medical reasons. We weren't slinging shit. There was no scales. There was no baggies. There was just dying humans. Period. That's not what's happened with cannabis today. We're selling shit at clubs that are they're designed to make a drug addict come in and go, look at this shiny shit. It has nothing to do with the little kid having seizures or grandma who's dying from 3rd stage cancer or my mom who had 3 strokes. Nothing in that place is there to help my mother with her medical needs. It's only there to sell us fucking bullshit to a bunch of fucking people acting foolish and pretending like we're doing something. We got to be better than this. The plant's trying to tell it every time you run into someone that's dying and you help them with cannabis. The plant's talking to you louder than anyone's ever said something to you in your fucking life. It's trying to teach you a lesson, and you have to pay attention.
Well, and that's where we have to open ourselves up to many different things to be able to even pay attention. But I think I'd like to see, the model that was there where you had the compassion clubs, because do you guys even have compassion clubs anymore? Do we have them in Canada? Or, where can people
go? So I said we lost. Legal means you lost. You took an L. Period. This is a big ass fucking L. That's what we keep continuing to do every time. All we want to do is package and market and license. None of it has to do with how come we don't have clubs where people who are dying, like the first club in California, Dennis Peron's club, you come and get weed because you're dying. If you can show us that you've been diagnosed with AIDS or cancer, leukemia or MS, you come get free weed, period. We don't ask you for nothing except for your time to come get it and to ask.
So why can't we go back to that, Tony? Like we broke the laws before. Why can't we break the laws now?
Because we're a bunch of drug addicts slanging shit right now, and they've come to that realization. At one point, we were trying to help sick people. And then we realized we could sell it to everybody and pretend like we were sick. So everyone went and got a script. Someone with a twisted ankle from skateboarding had a script. Someone who had sinuses had a script, right? All these things aren't a medical reason to come get cannabis like the original system was set up for. Literally, those folks were dying. They had months to live, right? That's what we were giving them for medical cannabis, right? And then we realized, yes, everything's medical, but if you're just smoking weed to fucking wind down at the end of the day, that's not really medical. You're just chilling. That's everyone's chilling. Medical is trying to get rid of something that you're born with, like, and you can't control the burning, or me with my leg cut off and my ass missing and shit. These are medical conditions that I'm trying to fix without being on narcotics.
We want quality of life. That's what it's about.
My mom used cannabis to get off depression pills, literally quit taking them and only used cannabis. Period. She was on them for 20 years. And when we found Blue Dream, she was off of depression pills within 2 years.
Sweet. Yeah. And that's what it's about. But that's what it's about in my heart and your heart. And a lot of people that watch our videos and come to these live streams, we're preaching to the choir, and we all have to get out more and more and talk to more people to get them to understand the true meaning of compassion. And I think we need, like, I'm not going to be able to do it, but like, we had a politician here who's a grower of cannabis and consumer of cannabis. She got herself into politics, and now she's helping to change the laws because she's one of us, with the right heart and mindset. And I think that's the thing that Tony is really talking about, that right mindset of having the patient. And I think we need to go back to that attitude of the medical side.
At least not here.
Let the government have the rec side. Give us back the medical side of it.
It's going to be the exact opposite. The government's going to take the medical side. It's going to go to big pharma because they're the ones that understand how to turn this plant into true medicine. Smoking a joint's not medicinal. That's getting you high. You can't give grandma 5 milligrams of THC and CBD from taking a puff off a joint. She has to have that in an isolated form in a pill that she can take and regulate. That's what's coming with legal, regulated, rescheduled cannabis. The stoner don't seem to get it. The stoner seems to think they're going to be allowed to be at home making medicine to sell to people. There's not another medicine on earth that they're going to let anybody make in their bedroom and sell to anybody else. Cannabis we've lost, and people don't get it. The fact that you get 4 plants, or I get 6 plants, and some places get 12, you are put on a limit when you never had one before. You could grow all the weeds you wanted until they found you. Now they come and look because you went and signed up. So now they're going to come in there and count every plant and look at every tag because you were too dumb to realize what you were doing. You were telling them that you wanted them to come tell you how to fuck with a plant when you already knew how to.
Actually, that's a really good point, Tony. It's like registering of firearms, and they know you have firearms in your house. If you're registering to grow with your script, then you're under their control for that. I never actually looked at it that way.
They're controlling you. They want to be the one that's selling you the drug you won't set down. You keep saying it's medicine, and if it was really medicine, you wouldn't want it from somebody that could give a fuck if you're living or dying. You'd want it from someone that cared about you, and it's not your government. Your government cares about your pennies. They don't care about you specifically because there's always going to be another you to take your place.
We're just a cog in the wheel.
That's why you quit letting them take the money from the cannabis, but it's too late now. We decided that if we'll give you whatever and what you want as long as we can have weed wherever the fuck we want to have it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a drug addict trying to get what they want when they want it, how they want it. It's like a little 8-year-old going, okay, I'll take the trash out, but just let me have a Nintendo. No, motherfucker, you got to take the trash out, and I might get you a Nintendo, but then you don't even know that shit, fucker. Once I feel like you did the job correctly and you're responsible enough, you're going to get something. But if I have to offer it to you first for you to do it this way, something's wrong with that system.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people
think how much we were $9,600 a pound in the illegal days to today, $900 a pound in some places, $200 a pound. They're fucking us in the ass, and we're letting them.
And they're making money.
And we are too. We'll take $200 or whatever we'll take. $200. The price, the reason weed's worth $200 because we didn't value it. We only value the fucking pennies. Period.
Yeah,
I was in a club. We were paying $3,200 a pound.
Making lots, right?
We used
the
to pay
value went down.
$3,200 a pound every fucking time. And then harvest came in, and every motherfucker came in with 100 pounds trying to sell it to us for $3,200 a pound. I'm like, you want $320,000, huh? For that bullshit right there. So we'll give you $400 a pound. And people started saying, okay, because they went everywhere in town, everywhere. They drove south and went for a 5-hour drive south and a 5-hour back because they told them no, too. Because once cannabis went legal, every motherfucker bought it and everyone grew it. Every fucking one. That's why they've limited it. The government realized that if I let you grow 99 plants, I can't sell you no fucking weed. So here, you can have 4 plants. You can have 6 plants. That's it. You're going to run out of weed. And now you got to go somewhere to buy it. If you follow their system, you got to go buy it. And the average consumer, the person that doesn't even know the word craft exists, they're the person that never grows it and will always buy it. And that's why the clubs will always win. There's a 1 out of 100 that's the craft person. The other 99 are down there buying shit only for the weekend. They don't give a fuck that grandma's sick. They don't even go see grandma. They gave their kid up.
It's just like going down and buying a case of beer, man. Like it's Friday night. Like, let's go buy a fucking case of beer. That's what they're doing.
That's what recreational weed is. It's like fucking just you've tried to pretend like getting drunk. You turned it into a microbrew. It's still just fucking beer and it's faded.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd much rather have
how many people with cancer, literally dying from cancer, have enough time in their day to go get a torch and a glass fucking rig that's made in America from an artist and all this stupid bullshit we talk about? The person just needs some medicine. Right? So a dying human isn't going to go out and spend $300 on a glass fucking rig and $40 on a fucking torch and then $75 on a gram of fucking wax so they can cough till it hurts. Like what part of that's medical? What part of turning cannabis into a concentrate that could fucking literally injure somebody if they smoked it, who's really dying? What part of that's medicinal? How a plant washes, what part of that's medicinal? If you're not going to wash it and isolate it and put it into a form that someone can literally use as a medicine, and I have to take a fat dab every time, they're not worried about the patient or how it's working on an ailment. Right, you're just worried about getting high and looking pretty. Yeah,
and that's why I ingest. I make my my gel caps, and that's how I consume. I don't normally smoke a lot, but I get my pain relief, and it gives me the quality of life, and that's what a patient is looking for. We're all gonna die, but we like to have a quality of life and live a little bit of life and have enjoyment from it. And that's what the patient is looking for. At least that's what I look for anyway, because I want quality of life before I have to leave this world, and I'd rather not suffer if I don't have to, or to the extreme of suffer where cannabis can take that, cut the edge off of the pain, and I can actually have a life. And that's all patients really want, is that quality of life. I want to, somebody that has an eating disorder from cancer, and all of a sudden they get the munchies and they eat and they feel so much better. That's the quality of life that the patient's looking for.
Mm-hmm. And that's why when I had my first company, I made everything. I made gel caps, I made candy bars, I made cookies, I made muffins, I made oils, I made salad dressings, I made hash, I made fucking we did clones. We also did cannabis. I did every form of the plant that I could for the patient. I delivered it to him on my days off when I was not at work. Like literally, you could call me up and have custom batches made at different strengths, whatever you needed. Is the cookie too strong? Is it not strong enough? Is it, I don't like chocolate chips, I need something different?
Did I freeze up or did you freeze
whatever
up?
It takes. I don't know. Mine's working. What's up, Nesman?
Okay, am I back?
A healed patient's a lost customer. If you're healing them, they weren't a patient.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like my leg's not growing back. My mom,
Yeah.
she's not getting rid of the strokes that she had 3 of. Like as someone
Yeah.
that heals, that's you're not really that sick. That's something you could have dealt with without the weed.
In some cases, yeah.
In
Yeah,
every
you're
case,
not a
weed is not
permanent
curing jack shit.
disabled
There's
individual.
nothing that we know that weed cures. Weed does help stuff. It's not curing. If you
Yeah.
got cured from something, if you're healed from it, the weed didn't fix you. It was just something that was going to go away. Like I said, twisted ankle. Weed won't fix it. It might help you feel better while it's hurting, but
Yeah.
ankle will heal on its own, right? Or a broken bone.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm using specific cannabinoids that work on bones, it's not helping. If I just go
Yeah, I
get
don't
weed to
think
get
they
high,
found those yet. I don't think those ones have come out yet.
THCV works on bones. THCVA. So you'd have to have something extremely high in THCVA for that to start to have an effect on how your bones are healing.
Yeah. Well, Lily
Or
broke
it
her
also
leg. She
works
used
on
salt.
blood cancers like leukemia, and can work on type 2 diabetes, both of those things,
Yeah.
right? But if I just tell you cannabis does that and I give you just any random cannabis, it's not going to do that. It has to have those specific things in them to be able to give that effect. And you're not getting that from a shop with a dude that's offering you indicas and sativas, or a girl. If you go in there and the bud tender, the first thing they ask you is if you want indica and sativa, you're already lost. There's no medical side to what they're offering you. They're offering you a sale, buy whatever the fuck you think will work and leave. You're not in a medical shop. It's not going to cure you. You bought some shit in a baggie that's got Gary Payton's face on the front of it. There's nothing fucking medicinal about it. Listen to me, folks. Like I'm serious. Like this right here, Benny Hanna butter. What in the fuck is it? How does some grandmother or sick child know that this is going to help them?
Yeah.
It's not. You guys are fucking selling each other cartoon Farrakhan characters. You're not selling weed. You're not selling medicine. You're fronting.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think we have to go back to the compassion clubs and
I'm sorry,
that.
Lily. I get that.
Anyway, Tony, we're at the hour, and I'm gonna shut down because I got to pack out of the Unicorn Music Festival here, guys. Thanks everybody for coming, Tony. Wonderful conversation as always. Hopefully, we got Johnny back next week if he's done his vacationing month here. This afternoon, we've got Ben. He's going to be talking about the Protea flower. He's grown them all over the world. And he's going to come on and talk about how him and Leighton are setting up a grow in the city using like really bad soil to start with, and how they're developing it into something beautiful. So that's this afternoon. And then Dave Dormer tomorrow, guys. He's a award-winning journalist. He's been all over the world. He's tracked the language of cannabis as the plant moved across the world and how the language changed with each new country and civilization the plant went into. He's going to do a 2-hour special on Tuesday. Of course, Andy and myself on Wednesday, and Luna and Alex. I'm not sure who they have coming on Thursday. I won't find out till I get back, but that's the lineup for the week, guys. Blessings to everybody. We'll see you all later. Tony, you got anything to say?
No, that's good. Everybody have a good day. Much respect to everybody.
Okay, love you all, guys. Have a great one.